White dive on him.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good. Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Got it. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Welcome in, first to the floor, Ben Vallis here, along with Wayne Spooney and Jake Geisenberg. Guys, I'm so conflicted. Do we want to win? Do we want to lose? Has Jordan Walsh retired? What's going on? It's good to see you guys. How's it going?
Good, man.
Dude, it's it is really tough. And unsurprisingly, which is why we love Greeny, he's the same. It doesn't matter, like quarter to quarter, possession to possession, my feelings are changing. I'm living in a Celtics gasm amidst Sam Hauser, 4 threes in 2 minutes, or Jaylen Brown buzzer beater to end the half. And then I'm like, if Donovan Mitchell hits this 3 to cut it to 7, is that actually good? It's tough. It really is tough.
Yeah, man. I like in game, I want to win. I'm going to cheer for them. And I really want to beat Cleveland and New York, right? We can still win 35 games and have a very good draft chance at a really good draft pick. So, I just want to be selective about those 35 games, but also if we're just good because Josh Minott and Queta are starting level guys, that's also really great too. So pretty much a can't lose situation. And the last 2 games, that's kind of what's happened. Those 2 dudes look friggin' awesome. They're plus 48 when they're on the court together, net rating. So we're destroying teams when those 2 are together. And if that's real, that kind of changes our trajectory. Not as much as, Darren Peterson would, but pretty significantly in its own right.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a complicated tapestry of emotions, really, in this season. How do we navigate it? What do we want? What are our utmost desires for these Celtics? We don't know. What we do know is we've got 5 stupid questions to frame up this pod. You can judge us in the comments on our stupidity, hopefully some lack thereof, a direction of where our minds are going as it pertains to this team. But I'll throw a question one at you guys, and we'll run through them. The first one is, would we just be 5-0 if Derek White and Peyton Pritchard could shoot properly? Because looking back at the score lines, the margins for each game, the woeful shooting percentages of our starting guards, it's not that difficult to wrap your mind around the fact that we would just be completely loss-free if it were for our guys just shooting as expected.
Spoony.
Okay. My audio is kind of cutting out once in a while. It's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of annoying. So I think it might be fixed because I restarted my headphones, but I just want to make sure it's not the actual audio for the podcast and it's just my headphones. So people in the chat, please let me know.
Everything sounds normal to me.
Okay, all right, cool. That's fine. I definitely think we win Philly if we could shoot. If those 2 could shoot the ball. I think there's really no argument there. I mean, that was a shooting variance game of all shooting variance games. So that's at least 3-2. Now, the Knicks, I feel like they just kind of handled us. I don't know, man. I feel like they sort of let off the gas and we got it to 10 to make it look more respectable. I think we're probably 4-1 or 3-2 if those guys could shoot. But also, if they could shoot is well, maybe they make their shots better in the 2 games we won and in the Philly game, and then they'd be shooting 44%, but still they're not going to shoot 5 of 10 from 3 every game, right? They're going to have their ups and downs. So I think the normal variance of them shooting, I really only think it's the Philly game that we kind of can point to and be if these 2 dudes were making their shots as we expect them to, we would have won that game.
Philly's the only one because Pritchard, I think is missing shots that he makes. Derek White is missing shots that he can make, but his shot quality and shot difficulty have changed more than anybody else on this team. So significantly to me. So many grenades, so many Like just cannot beat his guy. He's getting the tougher assignments every night. Like they're just better defenders guarding him. And then if we're going to play this game, like the Celtics are 7th in the NBA in opponent 3-point percentage right now. Like teams are shooting 32.7% against them. Like the Pelicans could not make a shot.
Yeah.
Could not make a shot. They're bad, but they missed all of their wide open looks as well. So yeah, sure, it would be nice if Pritchard in particular was hitting his shots, but I think you can kind of play this game in a variety of different ways, and I kind of do think that the record is probably correct right now.
Again, not sure how to feel about that. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Still don't know. I'll let you know if I find out. I was having an argument with someone about this the other day, and you know when you're having an argument, you can just tell you're losing it, and you've actually brought no logic to the table in the process. They were telling me that this is who Derek White is. That in a world without Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum around him, and like a little bit more of a defensive focus, he is like a high volume, low efficiency guy. And I was like, no, that's not true. And they were like, why? Tell me why that is. Look at his stats from San Antonio. And I was like, okay, like I just don't believe it in my soul to be the case. And he's had enough. We've had enough sample size of Derek White being fucking awesome, regardless of who he's sharing the court with. But I did not have the stats in my holster in that moment, Spoonie.
That is the stupidest fucking argument you could make. So, like, Derek White is one of the best third options in the NBA, and, like, maybe not good enough to be your second option. Congratulations, buddy. We figured everybody knew that. Yeah. Was anyone really being like, well, Derek White's better than Jaylen Brown? No one has said that. No one thinks that. Like, but
there were some people that were like, who's the second most important player on the Boston Celtics? Remember those dumb conversations from 2023, 2024? It's like, is Jason Tatum actually the most important, or is it Derek White? People did do that, but those are
and I think that's kind of a different question.
Sure.
Because you can make the argument that like what Derek provides you on the defensive end is maybe more valuable than what Jaylen does defensively is easily more replaceable than what Derek White did, right? O'Shea Brissett could give you what Jaylen Brown does defensively. There's like nobody that can defend the rim like Derek White does and guard point of attack like he does in a point guard's body. But offensively, he's so very obviously a third option. He makes wide open shots. He can run pick and roll. He's not like elite at running pick and roll or creating advantages, but when the defense has already been breached and they're in rotation, he will destroy you. And that's exactly what you need out of your third option. That and shooting 6% on wide open threes, which he also does. So, and he moves the ball and makes correct decisions and never turns it over. Yes, you cannot give him the ball and have him ISO like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Okay, so what? Like Kristaps didn't play last year, and it was the best season of Derek White's career.
I'm so glad I brought it up. It elicited the response I was hoping for. I'll tell you who the argument was with after the show. It is a friend of the show though. But
shit, sorry.
Not that good a friend of the show, but a friend of the show.
Okay, all right.
Are they not kind of right though? Like a little bit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's not like some crazy well, you're never gonna believe my take. It's like, yeah, we know he's not a second option.
Breaking news, take Steph Curry off of the Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green is going to look really bad.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. And look, it wasn't presented with any of that accompanying logic, so I still did my best to shoot it down in the moment, but I was emotional at the time. It was difficult. But, I mean, suffice to say, I think Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, from a shooting perspective, definitely operating below expectations for now. Like, I guess the question, despite everything we've said about Derek, like, you expect his shooting to dial up and become more efficient throughout the season, right?
What's crazy is all the advanced stuff still loves him. Derek White on the court in 171 minutes, net rating of 10.89. Derek White off the court in 69 minutes, nice, negative 3.11 net rating. That's a top 5 player in the NBA swing for a guy that's actually playing real minutes. So that's probably the response to this person, is that it doesn't actually matter if Derek White makes shots or not. Similar to Jason Tatum, his impact goes beyond the box score, dare I say, in NBA nerd cliches. But he plays. He's like our best defender pretty comfortably at the moment, I would say. And he still has maybe the most gravity. Maybe Hauser has the most gravity, but it's a little bit different when Derek White's handling the ball. Like he's seeing a lot of bodies. yeah, man, that's even bigger than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, look, starting guards, they're going to shoot better. They're, like you said, Jake, they're both playing incredible ball right now. Like assist to turnover ratio alone looks great for both of them. And the playmaking leap for Pritchard probably is deserving of its own like Patreon breakdown or of its own segment because that's been a huge leap as well. And like you said, like if anything, we expect Peyton Pritchard's efficiency to dial up. Stupid question number 2. Is Josh Minott rather just our long-term starting power four? We've talked about the audition squad for the Tatum-led Celtics. Jason Tatum is walking through that door eventually, probably sometime this year, if not to begin the next season. When he walks through that door, Jake, is Josh Minott just going to be the hard-coded starting power forward for the Celtics?
I mean, as of today, no brainer. Josh Minott starting 4. Regular season wise, I see it, no question. I wonder when you get to the playoffs, is that going to be a problem? He's been knocking. He knocks down wide open corner threes, and if he's someone that can actually knock down wide open corner threes consistently to the point where he's punishing defenses for leaving him wide open, then sure, then they eventually will not leave him wide open, and the offense can kind of roll from there. But I do think when you get to the playoffs and teams are scheming and planning and have film and are really locked in on tendencies, that you're probably at a bit of a disadvantage with Josh Minott out there. Kind of reminds me of Derek Jones Jr. in the finals. I've comped him to multiple times now, where the Celtics just left him wide open and he could not hit an above the break 3 to save his life. And I don't think every time Josh Minott takes it above the break 3, I'm like, it just doesn't even look comfortable for him. And that would be the concern at the highest level. But regular season wise, very comfortable, very confident in Minott right now. The defense and the rebounding, the cutting, all of that I think is very sustainable, even when teams start to become a bit more aware of Josh Minott being a good player. But that's different kettle of fish once you get to like the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the concern. He's shooting 50% from the corners so far this year, 4 of 8. So, take that with a grain of salt. Real quick on Derek White, Jake, you made the shot quality point. He's taking twice as many pull-up threes this year as he did last year. So, like, I think that alone is almost enough to explain why his efficiency is down. So, Minott, this is an unfair time to ask this question. I feel like we've been Minott guys since we kind of saw how athletic he was and rangy he was in the preseason. And like he's just been awesome. And I think the rebounding's been the biggest thing. And to me, it feels like the things he does on the defensive end can take the defensive load off of Jason Tatum, because I think we don't talk enough about how much Jason Tatum does for us defensively too. Like he guards centers all the time. Like people do not talk about that a lot. That's really hard to do. And he's by far our best defensive rebounder. So if you give him some help, and Minott's just really disruptive. And I think there's centers like when Mobley was at center at times last night, he was guarding him. He guarded him a lot all night. And that's probably a Tatum matchup normally. And like you can just save Tatum those miles. And like, yeah, it's going to come down to the quarter. I think primarily corner shooting, whether he's going to be a viable playoff guy. But he's 22. The jumper's a little wonky. There's like a lot of motion. Like he moved, like his stuff is going all over the place. He's like pulling it from his knees and kind of flicking it up. So he needs a lot of work on the jump shot. But like the fact that it's going in and went in around 33%, and we're probably headed around that this year, is indicative that he has touch. He's not hopeless. And if you can tweak his shot a little bit, like it could be, 35, 36% from 3. And if he can like sustain that in the playoffs, it's probably just enough that he gets guarded. And you combine that with all the other stuff he does, and he just makes quick decisions and will like put it on the deck and make the right pass sometimes. Like that, it kind of surprises me how sort of high his basketball IQ is offensively. And you said it, Jake, with the timing of the cuts too. That's all part of it. So unfair to ask me that right now because I'm an unequivocal yes, obviously, with the way he's played these last two games. Yeah.
The answer we were fishing for.
He's
yeah,
a vet min Jason Tatum at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
The lawnmower. I love it. On the defense, I think Forsberg had this. The Cavs last night were 1 of 12 shooting when Josh Minott was the primary defender per NBA's tracking data. Evan Mobley shot 0 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3 when guarded by Josh Minott. I watched the game last night after the fact, and like, there were definitely quite a few possessions where it seemed like Minott just like stood up Evan Mobley, just kind of like stopped him in his tracks, stopped him from getting into his stuff and what he wanted to do. That was really good to see, and surprising beyond what we're already celebrating about Josh Minott as well. Is the aim maybe, I don't know if he's extension eligible, I'll have to check, but like extend him before he learns to shoot.
Quick,
please.
Quick. Actually, yeah, I don't know if you can extend him right now, but yeah, we have the team option for another season. That detail is looking awesome, as opposed to the Luka Garza. Brad's Achilles heel apparently is giving second years to useless big men, Xavier Tillman and Luka Garza. If that's your Achilles heel, that's great. It's a great Achilles heel.
Yeah, like you said Achilles heel so many times. It's a trigger word for me, Jake. We have to.
I literally didn't know what you were talking about till like the fourth time I said it. I get it now. Apologies.
Oh yeah, right. Shit, Tatum.
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? What's wrong?
Like
did Ben just read the Song of Achilles?
Yeah, he's really depressed, man. He loved Achilles, favorite character in the Odyssey.
Which is totally fair.
It's all about Greek mythology for me. Nothing to do with Tatum. Absolutely.
But yeah, so the team options, and then so you will have, I think Steven and some others were talking about this in the Discord yesterday, which sign up to the Patreon if you want to jump in there. That's the type of stuff that we're picking apart on a daily basis, is whether or not we get the bird rights on Josh Minott after his second year with the Celtics. I believe you get his early bird rights according to the Discord. So it still gives you an advantage, and it's one of those things where if he out-earns your ability to sign him next season, that means he played fucking awesome, and you probably won multiple playoff rounds. So, good problem to have.
One thing we could do, I believe, we could decline his option and sign him for 2 years at the mid-level exception, and then we'd have his full bird rights when he's like 24 years old. So, like, that is an option too, because the early bird, I think it's only like 175%. But I'm not sure. I don't think you need bird rights. You can offer your own free agents the average salary, which is what we did with Hauser, because we didn't have Hauser's full bird rights, I don't think. So I think we could offer him after 2 years up to like, it'll probably be like $12 million a year. So if he plays well, we have some options to keep him around, and I suspect Simons will be long gone by that point too, so that kind of gives you that salary spot to open up with. And look, you find your starting four on the scrap heap. Brad Stevens has done it again.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Anthony Simons not included in the stupid questions segment. I think it's all pretty straightforward at the moment with Anthony Simons, but we've got many more stupid questions to come, 3 more in fact. But before that, a quick word from our friends over at Prize Picks.
That's right, it's Prize Picks time, baby. Drake May season, it's Josh Minott season. It's been a great start for the season and for Prize Picks, as long as you're riding Josh Minott rebounds, Peyton Pritchard assists. Dude's fucking cooking in the assist category this season. So let's load up. Drake May, yards, completions, touchdowns. Peyton Pritchard, assists. Jaylen Brown, points. Money in the bank right now. And don't forget, Prize Picks offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. So like, when Scatterboo's ankle is pointing the wrong direction, you don't lose your Prize Picks bet, which is great. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's good to be right.
Shout out Prize Picks. Should I use Prize Picks? Not a stupid question. The answer is absolutely yes. Use that code CLNS.
Oh, yeah.
The third stupid question, maybe getting progressively less stupid I don't know. We kind of end with a pretty stupid one, to be fair. But question 3, is Neemias Queta destined to be either the best backup big in the league next year when we sign presumably our starting big, or
Al
the
Horford.
Celtics' long-term starting center?
Spoonie, go ahead.
I okay. Backup big, I feel like is he the question is essentially, is he going to be better than Luke Cornett next year, right? Because I think Cornett is probably the best backup center in the NBA.
Before you go ahead, I'd kind of I went kind of through it, and
Okay, please.
before we start making that, because I was open to the question as well. Firstly, you got to like deal with the double big starters. So like, does Hartenstein count as a starter or a backup? Because Chet is, those lineups, and Jared Allen and Mobley. But then you get into Gafford and Lively. One of those guys comes off the bench. Luke Cornett, Naz Reid, Steven Adams is another double big lineup guy. Okongwu or Porzingis, Beef Stew. Al Horford is the backup big right now. Brook Lopez, Khalil Ware. And then I think we're starting to become live. Mitchell Robinson, when he's healthy, also falls into that other category. But Huck Porty for the Knicks, Filipowski, Goga Batatse, Adam Boner, Nick Richards, Drew Eubanks, Marvin Bagley. So like, there's a clear cutoff kind of in that. Brook Lopez, Khalil Ware, I still like those guys. You're still taking those guys. I love what Queta's done so far. Well, but when you start going through it, you're like, fuck, yeah, we're not there.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like the starter question is the more interesting one, just because it's not comparative across the league. It's like, kind of, is he going to be the best option of those available to us going forward? And like, are we comfortable with that? And there's a very good chance he's the best option we have available to us for at least the next year, like after this season. And he's kind of playing his way into me being comfortable with that. Like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there to be like, yeah, we can go into next year. We can go to war with Queta when Tatum comes back as our starting center. But man, like, he's playing really, really well. Like, I was super concerned about his defense, and he has like really started to figure it out on that end. It reminds me, like, he is not the defensive player Rob Williams is. I am not comparing the level of defense. I am comparing the starting to figure out how to play defense at the same rate. It took Rob a few years to stop biting, to know when to rotate, to which shooters he needs to get out on and which he doesn't. And like how to close with length without getting blown by closing too aggressively. And Queta's really starting to figure that side of it out. And like, his drop coverage has been really improved, especially these last 2 games. So like, it's going to be hard to find a better big than him, I think, in like free agency or via trade in the offseason. So the answer might be yes in the the medium term.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how prominent he's been in all of our like offensive action, and how, at least as far as the role the big plays, it's not like we didn't really pivot from what we did last year with our bigs, even though in theory the quality and practice, the quality of the big that we're using in all of those actions has dropped off massively in terms of going from Porzingis and Horford now to Neemias Queta and Xavier Tillman. And Scal had it on the call last night that it's not perfect yet. It may take a while to reach a level close to perfection, but as far as Nemi, like the quickness in making the decisions once the screen is set, like how quickly to get out of it, whether or not to roll, to pop, to rescreen, those kinds of decisions. But it's still night and day from last year. Just his ability to even just sort of vaguely function in that role offensively, I think is huge. And then just the size around the boards, obviously not a great start to the season, but he's sort of brought on the aggressiveness as it's come along. I think having Josh Minott, who we just spoke about, starting alongside him has helped secure the boards as well. So yeah, the progression and the trajectory for Queta is really impressive, which is why it's a talking point for us today. But he's definitely operating above my expectations, I think, so far. How high that ceiling is, we might be close to hitting it. I don't know, but the fact that it's in question, I think, is impressive.
He's absolutely exceeded my expectations. Known Nemi skeptic. He's defensively, there's such a chasm between him, and it's great that Tillman's able to move around a little bit. I don't think he's been like terrible when he's been out there, but so Nemi on the court, defensive rating of 103.8. Nemi off the court, defensive rating of 120.83. Like, crazy swings, and that's probably also a Luka Garza stat. But he's been for what we've got right now. He's the best we've got, no question. And is it the next two games are going to be big tests because you've got like the hyper athletic guards in Maxey and Edgecombe, and then you deal with like one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league, and the Houston Rockets coming up after that. So that's going to test you because the Cavs, they theoretically they make you think that they're good at rebounding, but they suck at rebounding, and it feeds into all of their fraudulent allegations in that they're soft because they do not play as if they start 2 7-footers out there. They really don't. And yesterday was a good example of that because Nemi was able to completely clean the glass.
Yeah, Nemi beasted both of them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, look, I know Garza has his fans. 111 defensive rating with him off the court, 124, basically by far the worst in the league.
That's our boy.
Yeah, so about, 12 points per 100 worse when Garza's out there defensively. Untenably bad defensively, in my opinion, but we'll see where it goes. He could improve. I've seen a lot of weird stuff in the NBA in my days. So, yeah, Nemi's been good. And, there's just a very real chance he's kind of the best we can find for next season. And, I'll be interested. Part of me's maybe it would be interesting to see him start in a playoff series, just get him that experience. Obviously, I'd rather have the high draft pick, but I do think that'd be kind of valuable for him.
Interesting is definitely a word for it. Ben Vallis is on mute, and I know he's got something great to say. So
thank you for saving me in such a graceful manner, Jake. I really want to see him in the Jason Tatum big man development program.
Yeah,
I want to see many reps of that. We've seen that bear fruit on many occasions. Luke Cornett obviously being the most recent example. And again, we talked about how he's operating out of screens. Still some work to do there, but the improvement is unquestionable. So to see hopefully Tatum come back in and start to develop some of that chemistry towards the end of the year, I think would be exciting, certainly for Nemi. But yeah, kind of a stupid question to maybe considering one of the best backup bigs in the league in a couple of years' time, but it's not completely out of the question.
But maybe I know that they like to say that development isn't linear, but maybe it is linear with Neemias Queta. He's maybe. Just if that's true, because he came to basketball late, etc., etc. He really hasn't played a ton of minutes relative to his age. So he's a young. Is he 27 now? He's a young 27 as far as NBA goes. Baylor Scheierman's played a lot more basketball than Neemias Queta through his 4 years at Creighton. I have to actually look that up. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, he hasn't played a lot of basketball, and he's definitely improving year over year. And maybe those 20 games with Jason Tatum at the end of the season take him from I've got that line of demarcation on my list of backup bigs here too. Maybe he is in the Nekia Kongu category, which would be a fucking huge leap. I'm not saying he's there yet, but it's not, stranger things have happened in NBA development.
I think that's more likely to. Never mind. You know what? I'm going to lay off Luka Garza.
Ivica Zubac. Hey, man. All of a sudden, he is an all NBA player. It took him 5+ years, and he was thrown in as a trade filler, which was a bad trade at the time. But yeah, I'm was that the Mike Muscala trade I'm getting mixed up with? Doesn't really matter. The point stands.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was with the Lakers. Yeah.
He took him a ton of time, and he went to the James Harden school of big men. So get Jason Tatum in there, and we're off to the races.
Yeah, Tatum without Queta last year, plus 9.8. With Queta on the court, plus 11.2. So 385 minutes, too, last year. So it worked.
I'm sure that was against all the good teams.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Your Wizards, your Hornets, all the gangbusters squads.
Oh, man, it'd be so good to come out of this season, among many things, with just a competent big man that we can kind of rely on for the next few years. And look, if you want to get yourself to a game, maybe scout Neemias Queta's development trajectory yourself, you might want to buy yourself some tickets using a fantastic platform that sponsors this show, known as our friends over at Game Time, Spoonie.
Look, it's football season, it's basketball season, it's hockey season, it's baseball season. It's amazing. It's like the best time of the year. It like college basketball is coming to Morgantown, where I live, and two of the projected top 3 picks will be coming to Morgantown. So I've been perusing tickets. I'm going to check out AJ Dibansa and Darren Peterson live in person, and I'm going to get to those games with Game Time. It is super easy to get tickets. You just hop on the app, search for the game or team you're looking for, and you're shown all the available tickets and all the best deals right on your phone. Like, the seat view will show you exactly what it looks like from your favorite seats before you buy. Their curated deals make it even easier to find the best seats at the best prices, and last minute deal get you tickets right up to the start of the event or even an hour after it starts. And maybe my favorite feature is you can turn on and see the fees before checkout, so you aren't hit with any surprise fees when you're checking out. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Game Time, absolutely. If you're going to buy tickets for anything, use Game Time. Use that code CLNS. Get yourself a nice little discount. It's just such an intuitive platform, very easy to use, and you'll save yourself some of the convoluted fee applying natures of that other platforms unfortunately offer. Stupid question number 4. Spoiler alert. Stupid question number 5. We're going to do over on our Patreon for our Patreon subscribers. You can find the link in the description below. We're spruiking the ads today. We've got the ads immediately with the advertisement of the Patreon. There's the link in the chat. But look, it's all good stuff. And if you like the content that you find over here on our YouTube channel or on our socials or on our Twitter feeds, and it's an extension of that with some additional exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff, player breakdowns. So make sure you subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. Stupid question number 4. This is the stupidest question. It's my fault that we're framing it in this very stupid way. Is Baylor Scheierman? What is Baylor Scheierman? And this comes off the back of they've picked up his option for a minimal amount of money relative to usual NBA annual salaries. But I suppose it's a vote of confidence, Spoonie, in Baylor Scheierman, or is it just a desire to hold on to some additional salary for some trade maneuverability down the road, or what do you think this signifies, if anything, with Baylor?
Yeah, I think it just signifies like they just want like that. So you got to pick up the rookie options early, right? So we're picking up next year's contract this year. We need peep bodies on the team for one, right? Like it's hard to just replace people right now. Like it's just free agents for the minimum essentially. And I think the biggest thing is you will go into the offseason with a contract that you can presumably trade. And it will be, like maybe some team thinks he has a little potential, has some positive value for him. And also they can get it and they know they can just decline his 4th year option if they want to and get his salary off the books. So it is very rare for first round picks to get their 3rd year decline, like very, very rare, no matter how shitty they are. So I wouldn't see this as anything other than like these deadlines are super early. So like you're better safe than sorry. Let's see what we have with them. And like, if it doesn't work out, we'll probably try and find a trade, or like he's just kind of stuck on the team next year and we decline his 4th year option. Like it just really never happens. It has happened, but it's very rare.
It does happen. One that comes to mind, Jaylen Smith, who was drafted by the Suns, didn't get his option
That was
picked up.
dumb.
Yeah, well, then I guess so. I'm not sure Jaylen Smith is changing their life, but
but
they
like,
could have
he's a useful
used
role
him.
player.
No, he ended up being better than being declined for his option. Yeah, it's and also apologies if anyone hears like this loud scraping noise. I gave my dog like this bone because it's like I still keep an eye on him with this foot thing, and he's like turning it into like thunder. It sounds like as he tries to tear this thing apart. So apologies there, but yeah, shout out Baylor Scheierman, who I did tweet out that I was mad that he was getting minutes over both Ugo and Walsh. And it was pointed out to me in the Discord again by Steven that Ugo got his chance in the first half and blew a couple of defensive assignments against Mitchell. And Baylor came in and actually did okay against Donovan Mitchell. and Ugo's not really giving you much offensively. So I think it was not the most insane thing to give that specific minutes to Baylor, but I still would rather just let Hugo work through a couple of mistakes and then, because it's such a short leash. I get that's a thing with rookies, but you give Ugo 3 minutes. I think he got in the first half. It's like he makes 2 mistakes and he's out. But Baylor, to his credit, has been battling and rebounding and not taking horrific shots. Doing a lot of running around out there, but I probably slight medium to small backtrack on Baylor Scheierman and slander yesterday, but would still rather see Hugo.
Yeah, I would still rather the investments be made elsewhere. But like talking about feeling conflicted about the team from a macro perspective, like can you just like for my own like narrative building just continue to be bad, please? So I could just stick with that because he like we talk about playing relative to expectations. He has come in and been like not bad, kind of not noticeable in a good way, given that some of his biggest flaws in recent history have stuck out like a sore thumb. The fact that he's just coming in there and getting reps and staying in front of his guy and kind of playing good ethical hoops is contradictive to, I guess, the narrative built around him thus far. So more conflict. And we still don't know what Baylor Scheierman is. Stupid question.
Not very good. Yes, so far. Is that we know what he is. Yeah.
And
maybe
pushing 26 years old, which is not
okay.
ideal. This was always my problem with the pick is what made Baylor special at Creighton. It was the crazy shots, was getting on the ball and throwing the crazy passes and being able to do whatever he wants. And like, I always had a concern that he could scale down into like kind of a regular role player. And he looks kind of like a shell of himself offensively. Like he clearly has no confidence offensively right now. And I agree. He's playing hard. I thought his defense was solid the last couple times he's been out there. But he's just kind of a body right now. And again, are you going to empower him to run pick and roll and whip crazy ass passes to the corner? Probably not. So what is the point of him at this? You know what I mean? Like he hasn't flashed any of the passing chops we saw last year. And I think that's a big confidence thing. And like, he's clearly been told to tone it down and then you're kind of just eliminating what made him like kind of an interesting player. So he's really got to figure out the catch and shoot threes. And if he does that, like maybe there's something there. So, but right now, like, okay, he's fixed the lackadaisical defense and he's like battling on the glass and that's important. And maybe he can kind of build himself back up offensively.
Can't argue with this in the chat from Blamo. Celtics have only won games this season when Baylor's played 10 plus minutes. If that's not science, I don't know what it is.
It's a causation correlation, saying out there somewhere. But hey,
shout out to the chat. Only hard raw facts in the chat. Before we wrap up, can I just big up our guy Jaylen, Mr. 47% from 3, Brown. There's no stupid question to shuttle him into here. There's no segment, but he's just been playing incredibly well despite different circumstances this year. Despite the notable hamstring injury and lack of burst there, he's just been efficient. You guys talked about it on the last couple of pods, just picking his spots, not over asserting himself, and yet still clearly, despite not trying to overstep his mark there, clearly emerging as on most nights the more talented player on the floor across both teams.
He was the best player on the court last night. That included Donovan Mitchell, who both guys are kind of been dealing with hamstring injuries. It was wild. Donovan Mitchell went 5 for 5 and then didn't make another shot after that. Jaylen Brown, I wrote about for a Celtics blog last night to recap his game. He's been fantastic this season outside of the Knicks game. Last night was a flawless captain's knock, Ben. We might need to get a Jaylen Brown captain's knock Photoshop because 35 and 4 on high efficiency, that was what they needed. He set the tone. He had a signature Jaylen Brown 3-point barrage, which became a little less frequent over the past season or two with the 3-pointers. The buzzer beater that he hit at the end of the half was nuts. And I was on the playback talking being oh man, because he clearly wanted the highlight play. He just hit the straight on 29 footer, comes down the court and he's dancing with Dean Wade. He got a step on him and could have easily gotten to the rim, made a play or pull up for the mid range, and then just got straight back to dancing and took such a tough shot and buried it, to quote Mike Gorman. And I almost called him the late Mike Gorman. And I was like, wait, he's still alive.
Yeah, he is still very much alive.
Thank goodness.
That'll
We
be
would've
one of
had
the
it.
worst days of my life when Mike
No question.
passes. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
Al Harrington
yeah.
buried it.
Real quick, right in Harrington's face. Yeah, I love that
That's
call.
right.
His on-off differential is negative, right? So we're technically better
Classic.
with him off the court, but it is exclusively due to 3-point variance. Opponents are shooting 31% from three when Jaylen's off and 36% when Jaylen's on. And if you adjust for that, like the data baller lets you like adjust luck adjustment 3-point shooting, he becomes like plus 2.2 when you adjust for it. So, which I think is far more reflective. We have very obviously been a better team when Jaylen Brown is on the court this season and last year, despite some of his struggles. So yeah, he's been great. I've just loved the approach he's had this season. It's the exact approach I wanted him to take. Take over when you're feeling it and it's your time. Otherwise, let the game come to you, make plays for other guys, and execute the offense. He's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think part of the numbers as well, he's being asked to do what Tatum does. And I saw Trey talking about this on Twitter. Like, we're asking him to carry the bench lineups. And two things. One, the bench lineups now include Luka Garza, Anthony Simons, Baylor Scheierman, and Jason Tatum can make anybody, like, he can take Trey, Spoonie, Ben, Jake, and put Tatum out there, and he's probably going to have a good net rating. That's just how good he is, and that's how impactful Jason Tatum is. Jaylen Brown's kind of never been that level of impactful and probably won't be, but that's also contributing to the on-offs. Is that you're asking a guy that's closer to like the 15th, 20th best player in the NBA to act like a top 5 player and carry these bench lineups, and these bench lineups have gotten even worse. So I think the 3-point shooting plus the job that we're asking him to do is just more difficult.
He also owes Josh Minott a beer for making that terrible foul out of the baseline inbounds on, I think it was Evan Mobley. He went down and missed one of the free throws, and you can see Josh Minott like fist pumping as the miss occurred. But
yeah, he's
obviously
like,
put
great
Jaylen
foul.
Brown in yeah, exactly. Yeah, well done by me. But put Jaylen Brown in a position to make that epic buzzer beating, like step back, dance on him play, which was awesome. And if you want the highlights of like Jake reacting to all of that and above, it's on our YouTube channel. Subscribe. You can find it in our videos section, I think they call it there. So go check that out. So like I said, we're going to do our 5th question over on the Patreon. You can sign up. You can join the Discord via the Patreon. Bonus pods every week, player breakdowns, behind the scenes stuff. It's all there. Plus, you'll be funding our first to the floor trip to Las Vegas Summer League later next year, where we'll be filming a bunch of stuff, doing pods, live, in-person stuff. We'll set up the questionably looking hotel podcast studio.
That's right, baby.
I may just live stream the whole thing wearing a pair of Meta Ray-Bans as well. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like button, subscribe, help us. Go ahead.
The fifth question, for those wondering, to tantalize the tentacles of those listening. Are you more confident the Celtics end up as a top 6 seed or get a bottom 10 pick after 5 games? And we might have time for would you accept the Derek White Godfather offer from Houston? So get in there. You know you want it now. Come on in.
Yeah, way to tease it. Jake. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like button, subscribe. Help us navigate this newly calibrated, very annoying YouTube algorithm change. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celts.